right,
trouble.
Jaden. What do we got in the news?
Well, Tommy, we've got the 59th Super Bowl that happened last night. The Philadelphia Eagles outperformed and had a pretty handed and decisive victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, 40-22. Top of the day here, at least several hours ago, there were two jets that collided on Scottsdale Runway in Arizona. One is reported dead, three hospitalized. Now, I'm not saying it's a Streisand effect, but I am seeing this a lot more than I used to a few weeks ago. Over the weekend, Donald Trump announced plans for tariffs on steel and aluminum, some 25% from Mexico and Canada. Now, what that means ultimately is that housing costs will inevitably go up. Retaliatory tariffs are set to take place in the aftermath of this. And in addition to that, Trump has weaved a very complex foreign policy agenda over these last few days pertaining to the Canadians in these steel tariffs and aluminum tariffs, Mexico with mass deportations that have not been up to par to his expected rate. And now it appears as though Palestine is not going to be welcome to the Palestinian people, or at least Gaza will not be welcome to the Palestinian people under his new rule for, quote, U.S. ownership of the now war torn territory. He suggested that some billions of dollars must be spent in expediting them elsewhere, and said earlier today that, quote, if all the hostages are not released by 12 p.m. Saturday, a ceasefire agreement would be canceled and all hell will break loose. Now, from that, we have Tulsi Gabbard has uh, appears to have secured the votes. The U.S. Senate has voted to invoke cloture on Tulsi Gabbard's nomination to serve as Director of National Intelligence. Up next is the confirmation vote, of which it seems she'll be likely to be approved based on Susan Collins' recent flip on that. Let's see what else we have here.
You know,
Let's
I
see.
think the
What's
thing I
up?
think the thing with the Tulsi Gabbard nomination, I've talked about this for a long time. I cannot for the life of me understand why Republicans are fully willing to take on whatever she fucks up. Because it's going to be on her, right? When it goes south,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be on her. It's going to be on these bad nominations. And it's going to be such an easy thing. They're like pulling a Democratic move. Like, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't really matter uh, what the truth is. You're going to get attacked for everything that goes wrong. Anything that goes wrong. Terrorist attack in the United States, an outbreak. You're going to get blamed. And so they're just like adopting all of these awful things. And this is part of like that logic where they're like, we will allow this because we want to destroy these agencies so that we can rebuild and privatize them for our billionaire donors. And also because we just want to get rid of anything that helps people. And it's just going to be detrimental across the board. I've never seen a group of political party members since like literally, I don't know, is there anything in recent years? I've never seen in like a Western country such a hostile takeover before. It's going to have incredibly detrimental effects. And they're just running towards it, like skipping and hopping along. I don't know
Mm-hmm. Full
how
steam
in the
ahead.
world, right? There's going to be Americans that die because of leaks from people like her because she shares too much information. Like, I'm not sure. I don't understand why they're taking on all this risk by picking a bunch of idiots. As much as I hate the hell out of John Bolton, he is qualified for the role, and that's an awful thing for me to have to like be like, okay, yeah, well, he's at least qualified because he's awful. He's one of the worst human beings on the planet. He's up there with Dick Cheney, and I have to
Yes,
sit here and
indeed.
go like, well, at least he's qualified. Like he's an evil asshole, but he's qualified. Not qualified evil asshole. So it's such a bad like it's the worst spot to be in. It's like literally the least competent person. You could have picked anybody off the street and they would do a better job than RFK and any other. But yeah, I don't understand why they're adopting it. And I've never seen anybody, not just a hostile takeover. I've never seen anybody attack all of the bases of their own voting bloc of people this is going to affect, of just undermining the U.S. government to such a horrific degree. It's going to take decades to clean up. And if they want to do it, best of luck, I guess.
I
That's
agree. Now, there
sorry.
is
Go ahead.
some modicum of positive news coming from today. A few hours ago, Trump had removed the director of the Office of Government Ethics, the independent body responsible for overseeing ethics rules and financial disclosures from the executive branch. Unfortunately for him, a federal judge reinstated that position, and he is now currently in that spot, as well as freezing on the federal buyouts temporarily and indefinitely freezing. Temporarily or indefinitely seems to be the case here of those thousands of federal employees who have had buyouts up to September of this year. The judge in that case indicated that this may remain paused for the moment, but until further stipulations are agreed upon, they may resume it at a later date, currently not known. In addition to that, there was a Democratic Congressman, Representative Mike Pogan, introduced a bill to ban special government employees from obtaining federal contracts. The bill is titled "Eliminate Looting of Our Nation by Mitigating Unethical State Kleptocracy," or short, Elon Musk. That's the acronym for that. What else do we got here? Some more bad
Um,
news on the way here. What's up?
but I just to focus for a second, he keeps getting blocked in court. How
Mm-hmm.
long this is going to keep up for, I don't know. But luckily, states are taking the lead and they're suing in their federal districts, which are more favorable. If they start suing, like if there's lawsuits that hit Texas, right, where they're going to Texas, they're going to the Fifth Circuit, that's a problem. But like a lot of these cases have been done out of Seattle, where it's much more favorable, just to rule of law. So there is some good news there. He's going to attack the hell out of it, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The hope is that he does such a terrible job trying to institute these unconstitutional policies that he just gets bound up until there's literally too much infighting for them to function, right? He's like,
Mm-hmm.
what does Trump go in like 3 month waves where he just like gets frustrated and starts firing everybody, Um, so I think that's the hope. Is as long as he continues to get blocked, inevitably, Susan Wiles is going to take blame. She's going to go. I hate her guts, but she is at least competent. But there's going to be a lot of infighting in the Trump administration. And supposedly there already is. So
That we can hope for. As long as that deal of stalling progresses and leads to more oustings, more blockings of key cabinet officials and policy, we may actually see some movement in the right direction. But in terms of the bad news, as it continues to move forward here, the Trump administration is seeking to delete a database from government servers pertaining to January 6th. Now, this decision to delete the DOJ's database of cases against Capitol riots defendants places those who seek to preserve the historic data in opposition, direct opposition to their own government. So now there
why would
appears
he
to
need
be,
to?
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry. Why would he need to do it if it was just a tour?
Well, because he doesn't want further prosecution or action or anything but to gaslight the American people, the American government, and the American DOJ of furthering any consequences towards his own supporters. So
And did,
that's
did you mention
the
that they're
story
trying to
there.
they're trying to go after criminally Costco?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, so they are trying to because get them to overturn the DEI policies. What that even means, I have no idea. They're going to try and criminally go after people. This is probably a veiled threat. Pam Bondi's probably too stupid to try and do something like that. Or maybe she is too stupid to try and do something like that. Maybe she has a little bit of smarts because, yeah, you start going after for this, yeah, that's shit you'll lose your law license over. That's stuff you'll absolutely get sanctioned for. Yeah, that is not that's not good conduct to go after people in this and abuse the system to this degree. And if they want to try, that's fine. I really think it's going to take the judges getting irritated and holding people in contempt. Be like, nope, go arrest them. Arrest warrant for this person. So we'll see how this goes, how this plays out. It's just it's becoming. It was like they were very tuned in to what they needed to do and what they needed to get done to destroy this country. Now they're like barreling towards destroying the country, but not getting anything done for it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yep.
everything's blocked in court, everything's headed down a bad path. They're causing enough problems that it is heading for that, you know, cliff, but also they're not getting much done in the meantime. They are getting stuff done, but it's not like super irreversible stuff. Not yet, anyway. So I think as long as they can create some strife, you know, I just maybe it's me. I like the news is bad, but I thought they were going to be. I thought the way that they were going to do things was going to be better because a lot of stuff that's been covered in the news in the last 2 weeks been shot down by courts. So
Yep.
we'll have to see.
It's not conveying much confidence, but in lieu of no confidence in this government, Trump appears to have expressed zero hope or faith that J.D. Vance will be his successor. In a recent interview, I believe done over
Yeah,
the
saw
last
that.
day with Brett Baer on Fox, his answer was no as to whether or not he believes he can succeed him in 2028. Vance foolishly posted over the weekend that it was not the role of the federal courts to step in and rein in on executive orders that they deem unconstitutional. Now, I don't know how much a Yale law degree goes for these days, but I certainly hope he kept the receipt. This is what we call a checks and balance, boys and girls. This is what we call the role of the judiciary. In fact, just a few years ago, they were cheering on the federal courts stepping in and zeroing in on Biden's student loan policy. Now it appears as though he suffers from amnesia. Quote, judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate powers. Well, if that's the case, what the hell are they for? So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
mean,
news.
at this point, it's they're setting. I don't know. It's hard to gauge right now. I would say at this point they're doing a piss poor job of getting what they want to get done. They're not doing a good job, and I think it's you know I think the concerning part is like as of right now, the institutions are holding up. Right, even the Republicans are concerned. There's infighting in the Trump White House. This is coming out from sources in the White House. There's infighting over Elon having this much access. Um, and, you know, I think the funny thing is, and what I'd really like to see happen is Trump lose it at Elon and arrest him.
That'd be nice.
I really do because you can't break into that many systems and not go to prison in a normal
Yep.
world. Oh yeah,
He's now
no.
granted him access to the Treasury and the Pentagon.
If yeah, if he turns on him, could could Musk? I don't even think Musk could use that. I don't even think Musk could use that as a defense that Trump told him to do it because Trump would be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's true. Fuck off. Go rot. You know.
Mm-hmm.
um, it is concerning the stuff that they're doing in terms of the administrative law. That stuff is concerning. The stuff that they're doing as far as breaking institution is not. It's not working out for them, and we'll have to see. There's definitely bad stuff. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like, oh, it's all. No, it's there. It's bad, but it's not as It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Yeah, we'll have
And
to
I've
wait
said
and see.
before, the chaotic nature of this, the pace of it all, is intentional. It's designed to distract. It's designed to
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm you, so that
Yeah, like
scrutiny of what they do is left unchecked.
yeah, I saw this video or this news story today where he's getting rid of the government ethics oversight dude. You know, the one that Biden appointed
Yep.
in November and was approved.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. He can't. Just like he can't fire the inspector generals. He's literally they're just forcing as much stuff into the courts as possible. Where inevitably he's going to lose. Sure, one or two of them might make it to the Supreme Court and rule in his favor, but they don't have the ability to take on that many cases. And if they do, just start doing his dirty work. You know, it's
Oh,
not going to work
I
out
almost
for
forgot to
him.
mention, they have officially phased out the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This is an agency designed and established by
I
Elizabeth
know.
Warren that uses legal
Why?
mechanisms of the federal government to recoup losses from financial institutions and scammers. They've achieved and successfully won back some $20 billion for U.S. consumers
Uh huh.
from predatory loans, from banking practices that were illegitimate and illegal, from scammers, from people who were doing unlawful services.
Right. And the question for MAGA is why? Why? Why would they do
They
that?
don't know.
It The answer is pretty simple, because Donald Trump wants to be able to con people, and he wants his buddies to be able to con people and screw people out of money. Um, there's no reason for that they wouldn't. There's no other reason. That's it. That's the whole purpose. So, um, now is that one an agency that is that congressionally funded? That's Elizabeth Warren's brainchild, by the way.
I'm not sure.
So I mean,
It's an independent
yeah.
bureau within the Federal Reserve.
Oh, that would make sense. It is interesting, but I think one of the things that I am really concerned about is even though he's not being successful in court, he still is disrupting these agencies, and the severity of that we don't know yet. I can tell you what we're absolutely going to see happen is we are going to watch really bad things happen, whether it's natural disasters, whether it's industrial accidents, whether it's environmental disasters, whether it's literally planes going down or terrorist attacks, whatever it is. We're going to watch this happen more throughout the Trump administration because the agencies that are supposed to prevent this are in disarray right now. And I think the question is, how long can they be in disarray? How long can they be completely like, you know, not have proper communication, not have proper funding, not have proper leadership? How long can that go on for before bad things start happening? And my suspicion, because we've never seen anything like this, is probably not very long. Probably not very long. Again, we'll have to see. We will see this happen more frequently with Trump. I think the question is how far along into his presidency you're going to start seeing this happen more, right? Where I don't know, the intelligence, right? If you have Tulsi and Hegseth, if you have these two idiots
Dumb
running
and
the
Dumber.
show, how many people are going to leave? How many people are not
Hmm.
going to want to be there? How many people are not going to have the ability to give information to people that it needs to be to because they've quit because they don't want to be there? And then you just end up with this completely dysfunctional system, right? We have complete breakdowns in communication, complete breakdowns in just the structure and the way that it's supposed to identify threats, the way it's supposed to identify problems, and have no ability to do anything with them. And so, you know how you see in the news, right? Like you see like well, there's like let's say something major is going to happen and you don't have the ability to get in contact, like this is a problem, right? This is a big problem, and you don't have the ability to contact anyone. Let's say like you see a major gas leak or something happening, whatever, and you know maybe not major gas leak, but let's say that you see like a almost just a corroded ass pipe that's a gas pipeline. You have to call someone, but there's nobody there to answer. There's nobody there to do the work. And then you're just running through all the hoops trying to get some sort of someone to listen. This happens in government too, where someone brings them a really important piece of intelligence information or something to that degree, and then suddenly you'll watch a piece of like out of nowhere a piece of legislation will pass to address it, right? Because it's been identified as being a problem. They won't have that ability. They won't have that ability. And the things that we have done to prevent these things from happening are being undermined, like TSA, like the FAA, right?
Hmm.
Regulations that cost money but do so for a reason are going to be rolled back.
OSHA.
Right, OSHA. You're going to watch industrial accidents happen if OSHA goes away. You're absolutely going to watch way more people die if OSHA goes away. There's no question in my mind. As someone that worked in construction, if OSHA goes away, if there's not that training, if there's not those guys that are OSHA certified, absolutely more people will die. Those ones you won't see on the news. There'll just be more of them. It's like Elon Musk cars that are 80. How many more times was it? 1,600 times more deadly than a Pinto. Do you see that? Anyway, that's your news. Jaden, appreciate it. Thank you.